Yow! Sanjay Uchiha here again today, folks, bringing you another segment of Dragon Ball Insights. Today, I'm bringing you my opinion on what a majority of the Dragon Ball community seems to hate. Hey, guess what? It's Dragon Ball GT! Yay! That, of course, includes analyzing what made it good and, of course, the
Garbage!
Thank you, Eustace. So stay tuned as I go in depth on this segment of Dragon Ball Insight. Now, Dragon Ball GT came out in Japan in 1996, and I remember back in either 2000 or 2001, was it? That was the first time I ever saw anything from GT. At the time, a friend of my dad's had a fan sub of episode 60, which was where Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta was introduced. And at the time, I was only aware of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. I had no idea about GT, and I remember being absolutely glued to the screen. Now, of course, I would eventually go on to watch Dragon Ball GT when it premiered on Toonami in 2003, and I must say I did in fact enjoy it. But looking at it now, there are a number of things that were definitely bad about the series. That puts it a grade or two below its predecessors, but it still has a number of good things. So starting with the negatives, I'd have to say the first problem with the series, and to a degree, it could be subjective, but I'd have to say it's Kid Goku. Now, to give you all some backstory, when Dragon Ball Z was ending its TV run in Japan back in 1996, interest for Dragon Ball from the Japanese audience was decreasing. So, over at Toei Animation, they tried to fix this by bringing back the whole adventure or quest-like feeling from the original Dragon Ball. And who can blame him? What better way to do that than turning Goku back into a kid? But this, of course, did not help, and a lot of us over here in the West didn't like it at all. Now, while I find it wasn't a bad decision, the problem here to me is that they kept him as a kid for the entire series. And I feel the reason this didn't work is the shift in how the series was portrayed from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z. The audience has essentially gotten so used to the more action-oriented style of Z that going back to a less effective take of the original quest or adventure-based style of Dragon Ball just comes off as a major turnoff. The next thing that I think made Dragon Ball GT bad was the use of supporting characters. Now, too often I've heard people make complaints about how Goku is always the one to save the day, or that Vegeta needs to get his time to shine, stuff like that. This isn't necessarily true, and the reason for this is that Dragon Ball, and to a lesser extent Dragon Ball Z, made excellent use of its support cast. So we're talking about characters like Gohan, Bulma, Master Roshi, Tien, Piccolo, Krillin, and yes, even Yamcha. GT, or Goku time, however, it's literally just that. It never really feels like the supporting cast has a time to shine, or even develop in any real creative way. And everything just seems to depend on Goku at the end of the day. I'd say a great example of this is most of the Shadow Dragon arc, where everyone just stays at home and relies on Goku and Pan, who's much weaker than a majority of the others, to deal with the threat to the Earth. Which to me just seems like shit. But it really just feels like everyone else is put aside for the newcomer in the character of Pan, who I find isn't even well developed throughout the series. It's not like she had a major character-defining arc so the viewers could grow to love her, per se. And then Trunks is just meh. So the next thing I'd say is the fights. The fights and how they were choreographed, sorry. While being one of my lesser problems with GT, it still counted as a negative for me. Despite not being as critical as I was back, Despite not being as critical back then for obvious reasons, it always stood out to me that the fights just didn't feel. They didn't feel as they weren't put together as well as the ones in Z. Let's call it that. Something about them always seemed to be a grade below Z, especially the Super 17 versus Super Saiyan 4 Goku fights. But since this is one of my smaller negatives, I won't stay on it for too long, so moving on. So the Super 17 arc, and then in general the power scaling and other inconsistencies. Now, the Super 17 arc, it was clearly fan service, but it was a bit weird in my mind. I mean, and there are things ranging from Trunks being hurt in a car crash, to even the villains coming back, and while that was cool, the fact that they were able to keep their bodies in the afterlife contradicts information that was presented in the manga version of Z specifically. But the major problem in this arc is the power scaling. Now, I agree Fusion is powerful, and there's no doubt about that. It's probably even underrated, if you ask me. But I don't see how two Android 17s fusing together could ever rival and even beat Goku at this point. While I don't have a problem with the power scaling of the GT characters, this problem could be tied to the fact that Goku in his base or normal form in GT is at least as strong as Super Saiyan 3 Goku who fought Kid Buu. Now, if you add on the Super Saiyan 3 transformation and the multipliers now, we probably have a Goku who's even stronger than Super Buu with Gohan and the others absorbed? Probably? But considering how easily Super 17 beats Super Saiyan Goku and the others, it's either Android base fusion is overpowered, or it's just poor writing there. But going into what was good about GT, I must say the Golden Great Ape and Super Saiyan 4, I don't think anybody could disagree with that. And I mean, with all the negatives surrounding GT, the Golden Great Ape and Super Saiyan 4 are two of the strong positives that came out of the series. I mean, bringing back this unique trait of the Saiyans, which hasn't been seen in the series for over a long period of time, and then still incorporating a Super Saiyan element into it, it really made it fresh and unique. And I must say, the design of Super Saiyan 4 is totally badass. I don't think anybody can disagree with that. Well, then again, I'm pretty sure a lot of people could disagree with that, but nah. It was a really creative way to introduce a new Super Saiyan form that wasn't simply longer hair, while making the Saiyans go back to their roots, I'd say. The next good thing about GT, I'd say, is Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Now, Gogeta has to be one of the best things to come out of GT. Despite being on the screen for only an episode, right? Yeah. He's proven to be one of the coolest characters of the franchise. Especially with that unique aura of his. At one point before the Omni King was introduced in Dragon Ball Super, I guess one could argue that he was the strongest character in the entire Dragon Ball franchise. Especially due to the power scaling in GT, evidenced by how strong Goku is, as I mentioned before. So, that's Gogeta. And I must say, next good thing about GT was Baby. Now, Baby to me stands as probably one of the best villains in the franchise. He has the best possible reason for behaving the way he does, as his race was wiped out by the Saiyans, as we all know. The Tuffles, yeah, they were wiped out by the Saiyans, which makes his quest for revenge understandable. While I can't give him too much credit since he wanted to take over the galaxy by making everyone Tuffles, it can be said that he just didn't want a repeat of what happened to his race, where they were peaceful and they were eventually dominated and wiped out by the Saiyans, and this would explain his thirst for conquest. So finally, the Shadow Dragon arc. The concept of this arc is just amazing to me. What better way to end the Dragon Ball franchise than for in the final arc, tools that they've been making use of, the very Dragon Balls themselves essentially becoming the villains. To me, it serves as a good way to teach the characters that they can't simply just do as they please, to rectify the issues of the world, even though they may be doing so with the purest of intentions. Also, being the final arc, it probably serves as a way to inspire the characters, as these items that played a major part in their lives is now gone, and now they have to tackle life with courage and hope, knowing that their problems can't simply be fixed at the drop of a hat. So, I even try to encourage you, my viewers, today you must. Blah blah blah! Okay, I'll get on with it. So finally, the ending is the ending where we get the clips highlighting key moments from all three series. As a longtime fan of the franchise, that's really cool to see. But all in all, I'll say that GT isn't as bad as everybody says it is. It has good ideas, and it has the resources that these ideas need, such as story concepts and the characters, but the problem comes in where executing these ideas are concerned. They just all seem to fall short in one way or another, and when compared to its predecessors. But anyway, that's it for this segment of Dragon Ball Insight. Hope you enjoyed, and if you did, hit that thumbs up button, comment, subscribe, and share this video out. See you in the next one. So good!